Let us know when you started record. Oh, hey, welcome! So fun. We are going to go over everything all about booths. I have that camera muted. Oh, can you see me? No. Can you see me now? You can't see me? All right then. Hold that thought, and this is gonna be, I know, you can hear me. So, say where you're from, how long you've been with Scentsy, and your name, why I turn on my camera on this camera. Go!
I am Shannon Everett. I am in Pennsylvania, and I've been with Scentsy since 2016, May.
Welcome. Can you see me now? I should be right in your face. Okay. Oh, look, you guys can see me. Nicole, how about you?
I am Nicole Arms, and I live in Springfield, Illinois, and I've been with Scentsy since April 2016.
Thank you, Nicole. Fun. Oh, and okay, so, and it's, whoa, it just went off again, right? That's a good sign because I can see. Why does it do that on my phone? Do you know why it does it on my phone? Why it goes off. The camera goes off when the. Now it should be on. So when my phone gets tired, it takes off the video. Good to know. Well, okay, you guys can watch that. We'll just go back to where I hear you. Look, Harley, when you just click the dark part in that video, if I go off of it, and you guys will see. Welcome all the different time zones. We're in the metropolis of Idaho, and we decided we're going to do some fun booth etiquette because so many people are kind of new to them, and we've been doing them for 11 years. And so we really, really want to learn more. Now there's so many things that we've done that we're still recording or video or when we first started doing this, we just can't do it. Shoot them warmers, show them, and then we got them off. And then one show we sold out of almost everything, all about it. We put a picture of that one. And then this one show that we started selling out, we went for 4 or 5 warmers. We took those warmers out of the box, and all of a sudden, people came and went, oh my gosh, I think we show them that they were fine. So that's what we do. We really try our best to. Well, hi. We try our best to show as much of the product as possible because Scentsy is a sensory product. So the more they can smell, see, touch, feel, then the more we get to know. So you can see this is just almost like our booth setup. And then if any of you are watching on the live, and yes, it's recording, unmute yourself to ask questions because we're not going to integrate in video. Okay? So you can tell. So this is just like it is at our trade show. Our Christmas shows are coming up. We'll have 2 walls of bars. This is like half what we'll have. So we like to have 2 walls of bars in a 10 by 20 booth. And the reason we like to do that is so team members can work with their customers one-on-one at the bars here, and then another 2 or 2 can be at this section. We do this very, very intentionally. We used to have just one, and we used to have the testers. But we don't provide the testers at the booth anymore. And the reason we don't do that is because people want to buy what we have. And then what we noticed is they all that time to be smelling the testers, and we were becoming just developed. Not trying to build a relationship, not trying to get to know them, not trying to get that know that trust relationship. So we don't have testers in the group. They either will buy what we have, or you, the consultant, we get to have a huge conversation with them and get to know them. Because there's no way that they are going to be able to host or want to host a party with you if they don't know
like, and trust you. Oh, I just saw it. There. What's going on? Maybe try one more time. We're getting it. Interesting how it does that. He's so tall. Didn't want that stool next time? It worked. Okay, because I can see that. Okay, good job. Anyway, so people are not coming to a trade show booth. Think about it, okay? You guys are there. You go to a Christmas show, or you went to the fair. Did you go to that Christmas show, or did you go to the fair to book a party? No. Did you go there to start a business? No. So the selling is a given for the most part because people come to buy. But they don't know is that they're going to meet you, the most fun person that they've met in that entire day, and they're going to know, like, and trust you. The only way they're going to know, like, and trust you is if you spend the time with them in the booth to get to know, like, and trust them. For that reason is why we will never have only 2 people in the booth. If there's only 2 of us in the booth, all we have time to do is sell and make a transaction. If we have 3, 4, or 5 people in the booth, then you shouldn't feel angst to do whatever you can to strike up these great conversations and get to know the person that you're working with. That is your customer. That's the beauty of it. And then the more questions you ask them, then the more you're going to get to know them. The first thing that you want to do before you come to the booth next week is be thinking about, okay, I'm walking by a Scentsy booth and I see what they have. What would make me go in? So think about that. When you go by booths, so we're all working on empathy here. When you walk by booths, what is it about that booth that made you go in? And what is about that booth that said, oh my gosh, please don't make eye contact. Oh my gosh, please. There's a reason for that. And that's what you, because you're different than me. We all have these different expectations. We all have these different feelings of what makes it appealing and not. So think about what would it take to get you out of the aisle and into the booth. So I don't know if you can see at home, but this is wide open. We on purpose don't have a table of all of our product here. We don't have a table of racks upon racks or bins upon bins of bars. Why would we do that? Why would we not have just a whole table full of product in front of the booth?
It makes it feel closed and that you're just trying to shove product at people's face. Whereas when it's open and you don't have the table just right smack dab in front, it's more open. They feel more inclined to walk around in it because it's kind of like a shop sort of.
Okay.
It's just to go and check it out. And plus when they walk by and you have things out of their boxes, like with me, I did not know Scentsy works with Disney now. So when I saw the Pooh Bear Scentsy bag, I was like, what is that? I need to look at it. It's certain things that you have out draws the eye, and the fact that it was open, it felt more welcoming. It didn't feel closed off like other booths.
Yeah. So in case you couldn't hear, Kat said it seems kind of like you're blocking the people from shopping and that you're trying to push the product onto them. And it literally is all about sales. When you do a trade show booth, it's a huge investment. Huge. I mean, look, you're sacrificing your family time, you're sacrificing weekend time, you're sacrificing some of your, it takes time. It's your physical time. And then when you do the booth yourself, it costs money for the booth, it costs for the insurance. It costs for every little peg on the grid. It costs for the tablecloths, everything. It's an investment. So you want to get the most out of your investment as you possibly can. If you have your product up front, yay you. If you just want to sell, that's a personal preference. Our philosophy is you have 3 points of sales when you do a trade show booth if you do it right. One is obviously the sales, but the number one ultimate purpose of doing a trade show booth is what? Do you have a guess? The number one reason is not selling. The number one reason you work at or you do a trade show booth. Want to make a guess? Keegan said build relationships. Connections. Making connections, yes.
Recruit.
Sponsor, hands down. But it happens with building those relationships and making the connections. There's no way you could do that if you were the only one in the booth. There's no way. We've tried it. There's no way you can get that know, like, and trust relationship, make the connections and all of that, so you can hopefully sponsor someone. So you want to get prospects. You're not going to sponsor them right there in the booth, but you are going to get to know that person that you would have never met. This business is all about building your, they call it a list of 100. I like to call it a family tree, because the list of 100 to me is very impersonal. A family tree, look at, we're all part of a family somehow, some way. It's our Scentsy family. So I like to look at how can you extend the branches of that tree. Well, we're not going to do it if we only try to sell to friends and family. We got to go beyond. So a trade show booth is building the connections and relationships. So yes, Shannon, we want to find prospects and we want to book parties. I like to book parties because I like to gift the party or earn a kit. That's how I prefer to sponsor, is through the host. And you're going to have that comfort. You get that choice. We'll talk about it after the recording and all that, but there are so many benefits to sponsoring. It's really what takes your business from a hobby mode to a business mode. And both of them are deluxe. It's a personal preference, okay? So our number one reason to work in the booth is we somehow want to build these connections and relationships to get a prospect to sponsor and book parties, to sponsor the host or somebody at the party. So when you're doing that, the only way you're going to be able to do that is to get them out of the aisle. That's why our booths are always in big old U's. We have a little table up front for transactions to highlight the door prize and all that, but other than that, it's wide open. We want them to come into the booth to stimulate their senses, because the more senses that are being involved, then the more buy-in they have to the Scentsy product, the Scentsy family, all of that. It's just that the memories that are invoked with scents, there's nothing more powerful. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. So knowing that, you're going to hear people come and they'll say, Autumn, do you guys have light bulbs? And of course the answer is yes. And then the easiest thing for us to do is to go grab a light bulb and hand it to them after they tell us what size, but not us. No. We're going to say, come on back, let's see what size you need. And they're probably going to say, oh, I need a 20 watt. Oh, okay, well, let's make sure we get what it is that you need. And we on purpose have all of our light bulbs in the back of the booth by the bars. We on purpose have little things, our scent circles, our to-go items, the car bars, the travel tins, the scent pack. Everything's in the back of the booth on purpose, so you get that little opportunity to talk to them as much as you're able while you're getting them a bulb. And then you're also going to learn the prices and all of that. So our ultimate goal is to always get them out of the aisle into the booth, because this is where all the magic happens, is when you're in the booth. So knowing that, the first question that you're going to practice and role play between now and your booth is, what are you going to say to get somebody out of the booth? And the first question is not allowed to be, do you want to enter our door prize drawing? Nope, not allowed. It's not very personal. It's very pitchy. It's not a way for us to get to know each other. And besides, think of yourself walking by those booths and the people standing out in the aisles going, hey, take a sample. Hey, take a sample. Hey, you want to enter the door prize? No, that's not Scentsy. And that's not how we roll, okay? So back to the bars. We have 2 racks, and then we'll have all of our warmers. So you can see there's a middle display of warmers, and they're lit. And we only put wax in 1 warmer, and we choose a round lid. And the reason we choose a round lid warmer is because square candles, it doesn't matter if it's Scentsy or a jar, square candles don't completely liquefy or melt the corners. So it's not great for presentation. It's not a Scentsy thing. It's just the wick with fire on a flamed candle, it only melts a round surface. Just like our light bulb, it's round, it's only gonna melt a round surface. So yeah, your square containers, they work great. It's just makes people question, oh, well, how come the corners aren't melted? Well, then it saves you having to educate them right then, because if they were to go look at any square jar candle, the cornered wax never melts, but it eventually falls in to melt, if that made sense. But we only put wax, usually 3 flavors in 1. So we can try to sell 3 bars. So we mix our scents. We don't usually just put 1 bar or 1 cube in. We'll put 3 cubes of 3 different bars to get sensations going. And we alphabetize our bars. That's a personal choice. Some people put them in categories. that they're in the catalog. Some people put them in colors. It's totally up to you because we have so many people working in our booths. It's not just us. We prefer the alphabet because I know I don't memorize the categories. I used to, but every catalog, since you will switch the bar in that category, so then you would relearn it. But it's not the end of the world. It's a personal choice. But we do alphabetize, and they're A through Z on this wall, same bars on this wall as they are on this wall, if that makes sense. Do you guys have any questions so far? So one thing that we really learned that was kind of cool is the door prize. It's so powerful. You want your door prize to be loud and proud and prominent. But here's why. This is what we learned. We used to have a fun graphic that we had professionally made, and it said, enter to win this right here, or enter to win 3 warmers in a bar. And this was before compliance and Scentsy and all that. But it was to your choice of a warmer in 3 bars. Because we thought, wow, that's a great thing, actually. So we did that for probably a year and a half. And then one time we just ended up, for some reason, collecting a whole bunch and making a fun basket. I promise you, we had so many people just stop by the booth and say, what is that? How can I win that? They never stopped when we had a little certificate or you get to pick. Nope, they like to physically see. And so what we started doing is a couple shows, we added balloons and all that, and then they outlaw latex. But now we just try to make a fun package with a bow and make it, so every person in the booth can reference it. And so when you have other people working in the booth and you have the door prize, it's not really what's in the door prize that matters. They just love Scentsy. So you don't have to tell them what's in it. And that's why when we do the booth, we just ask everyone to contribute to the door prize, anything from the current catalog, because then it gives you ownership. So everyone that you see here, all of our team members right here from Idaho, you probably can't see them, but there's 4 of them right here. But they're all going to contribute to the door prize. And then that way, when you're talking to your customer, it's never, she has this for you. Oh, let's see what she has. Ooh, I'm not sure what is here. What do they? It's our booth. Our door prize. Let's see what we have. Do you guys have the super fun pep buddy clip? You know what? Let me see if I have it. You can. It's me. It's we, ours, us booth. Well, we want you to feel that mentality. And so for that reason is one of the reasons why we like you to contribute to the door prize, because then you really do feel it. It's a human nature thing. It is our door prize. And then we'll put up a value after we know what everyone did. So all we really have to say is, not the first question, remember, but you could say something like, Keegan, you are so fun. I can't believe you have a new baby. This would be so fun for you guys to do some kind of share and then get all the super fun Disney stuff for free. Oh, and then look, we have a door prize. The grand prize drawing is about $100 worth of Scentsy. Heck, even if you don't love it all, you can be a giver. It is the holidays. And that's all you have to say. But I made it personal because I know Keegan has a new baby, etc. So it's really about that conversation. And the more questions that we can ask them, I can't highlight it enough for you to literally role play a little bit in your mind in front of a mirror, as silly as it is. What are the questions you're going to ask when you get people in the booth? Another bonus of having so many of us in the booth is we're going to snag each other's ideas. Because Autumn's going to say something that I go, oh my gosh, that was really good. That was really clever. That fits me. I'm going to say that next time. Or Kat's going to say something and offer them a great way to book a party. And the way she said, I'm all, oh my gosh. Or I'm going to see Keegan's hosting packet and go, whoa, that's so cute. I want it. And then I'm going to see Carlene's sponsor opportunity packet and think, I didn't think to put that in there. See, so all of this is collegiality. And then the other cool thing about having other people in the booth is when people walk by, they're going to see how much fun we're having. And by golly, they're going to want to be a part of us. And you guys notice I'm wearing a Disney shirt. This is our incentive group, by the way. Our incentive group is SOAR, Simple Ordinary Activities. Repeated. I know. You probably can't see it way up there, but it's a Disney shirt. Can we wear a Disney shirt in our booth? Anybody? Go ahead, Kat.
Um,
What do you think, Nicole? Shannon?
my question is, can I wear one of my princess outfits to the booth?
And then Kat wants to know if she can wear a Disney princess outfit. Could we wear that in our booths or at our trade shows? What do you guys at home have to say?
I would say yes, because you're not actually Disney. We do represent Disney in an aspect with the IP, but you're not trademarking it as you are Disney.
That is so correct. We can wear anything Disney in our booth, which I like to because sometimes people ask, and then it also reminds me to talk about it because it's so new. So yes, you can wear Disney Princess. What we cannot do is put anything Scentsy on it. I can't put a Scentsy apron over the top of it. I can't put a Scentsy join button on there. We just can't add our logo onto their brand, if that makes sense. So, but see, those things are so fun for promo and for marketing, etc. So that is beneficial too. So every single person that comes into the booth and you talk to is going to get a door prize slip. You do not let them leave the booth without you getting a door prize slip, okay? Our door prize slips are carbon copied. And the reason we carbon copy them, I've already separated all these, but, well, you get the idea. The reason that, I have all my super fun party ones. Oh, here we go, this one's no better. So our door prize slips are pretty plain. So this is the yellow copy, which goes into the drawing. And this is 6 up. There's 6 of them on a page in the files on Team Talk for any of you if you like this form. But all we ask for is their name, phone number, and email. And then the boxes ask them, notify me if of any discounts or specials because I love deals. The next one, I'll host a Scentsy family event to get free and half price products. The next one, tell me more about this Scentsy family business opportunity. Oh my gosh, how fun. And the last one, I'd like to hear more about Scentsy family fundraising. Boom. So we ask those 4 questions. You can make anything you want. I have these printed locally, but the white copy is yours. And that's how we like to do it. So what we'll do is I'll tear off the white copy. Yellow goes into the drawing bin. And then there's this little tiny box on the bottom. That's where you put your initials, okay? You put your initials because at the end of the show, what we do is we'll pull one, what's this called, door prize slip. And then if it's your customer, then we're gonna call you and say, guess what, Carlene, your customer won, tell us when. And then we all like to go like a Publishers Clearinghouse delivery with balloons, and we make it big-a-do, we try to, because it's twofold. First of all, it shows them we really do give away the door prize. 2, oh my heck, wouldn't that be kind of fun, embarrassing even, which is actually kind of silly fun, for somebody to show up at work delivering a prize to you? And so for that reason, when you get your customer drawn, you say something like this when you call. I am so excited, Kat. Guess what? You won the door prize drawing. Remember, I got to meet you at our Scentsy booth at the Christmas show. I can get it to you probably around 1 to 2 o'clock on Thursday. Where will you be? Where will they most likely be? Wherever. I know, right? See, and then it was professional because you gave them this window. And you know what's really challenging is when you really do work. Because then you got to make it work around your work. But that's why we say we try to deliver it to their work. It can't always happen, but if you can take a lunch hour at a different time, all we ask is that you post on Team Talk the picture of her or him receiving it with you, which is kind of fun, because then it also reminds other team members that, oh my gosh, that's a fun way to do a door prize drawing. And then you always have your contact information. Always. Because what has happened in the past when we've done these super fun deliveries is someone's going to smell it because you sprayed the box that you're delivering it in, or the ribbon, right? You've labeled everything with your information and put a catalog and a flyer in it, right? And then you're gonna have extras because someone's gonna say, oh my gosh, do you have a catalog? Oh my gosh, I have something even better. Oh my word, did you see this super fun Tannenbaum? Here's a flyer. You should totally host a social and get it free. I'm just saying, collector's item. So you get the idea that we're constantly trying to build these connections, all from working in a trade show booth. Okay, any questions so far? Honey, feel free to chime in, okay? Nicole, questions? Shannon, questions? Oh, I have a whole section. This is all on Team Talk too, but if you can't find it, you can do a search for booth success. But we've just written it up. If you can't find it, then I'll add it. But I have a whole section on how do you even go about getting a trade show booth. Because I mean, we all started somewhere, right? It had to happen eventually. And then I tell you about your tax ID numbers, because the question will come up, do you collect sales tax? Do you not collect sales tax? Do you take credit cards? Do you not take credit cards? You don't. So we use Square. And do any of you guys have Square? Ooh, sweet. Do you have the chip reader? Do you have a chip reader?
No, I have a swipe.
Okay, so will you bring your chip reader? Can I borrow it? Do you guys have the Square account yet?
I do.
You don't. Okay, so I'm going to send you guys the link to download. It's free. Okay, and then I think you actually get a fun little credit too when you join. Oh, so do I. Oh, it's a referral. Huh.
Yeah,
Everything is a referral, people. Everything. Think about that. Your business, Square's business, our business, your business. Very powerful.
Yeah, when you guys sign up for Square, it's very simple and easy. And then you guys get a credit for it, but they also at the beginning, don't skip it, because I skipped it and I was so bummed out because I kicked myself, but they give you an option to get a free swipe
Reader.
Oh,
A swiper or reader, huh? Yeah. Which is,
the
is it
swiper-
still the swiper
It's
that
still
they
the
give?
swiper because they do give you the option for the chip reader, because then it lowers the price from the 50 to smaller, I think it's to 35.
But yeah, so you get a
You get a-
swiper free. And what they did with me is they gave, I paid $50 for the reader, chip reader.
Mhm.
And then as soon as I sold $50 worth, they credited it back.
Yep.
So it
That's
ended up
just
being
how it
free. But what we do, and this is, again, everyone can do their own thing. Our trade show booths, just to give you an idea in case this comes up, they're huge as far as Idaho is concerned. I mean, it's a 10 by 20. We'll see. Oh my golly. Well, last year we booked, because that's how we try to keep track as a team, is how many parties do we book, and then we all celebrate afterwards. But I think last year we ended up booking 24 parties as a team. At this one, and at the Boise one, I think it was 31. Don't quote me on that. But we just always try to keep track of team. We have a door prize, a booth booking special, because like we said, people don't necessarily come to a show planning on meeting their most favorite person in the world, meeting you. So you're going to host a party with them, and then you're going to change their life because you just became part of their life, and then they need to act right now. So what are we going to offer them? Well, you want to know what you get if you decide to pick a date right now. And I mean, of course, the date might change because you didn't come here planning on booking a party. But would you like to know if you book right now during the Canyon County Christmas show? And of course, they're going to say yes. And then we change it for every show, so I'll tell you what it is. And then same thing when they want to know about the business. Hey, you know what? Why don't we get together for coffee or tea? My treat. And I'll talk about it where I can be completely present with you. And you know what? You have a new baby. I think this would be so perfect for you and your family. And obviously, you're a good-natured person, or you and I wouldn't be sitting here talking right now. But you know what? Let's talk about it over coffee and see if this business is a fit for you, because it may not be. But you'll know after we meet if it's a fit or not. So, see, these are conversations, I'm not kidding you guys. I practiced in my head, and then practiced on people and failed a lot. I mean, there's times where people walked away after I offered them a party, and I thought, oh my gosh, I felt like I was so pushy. Well, you know what? If we feel like we're pushy and pitchy, we probably are. If we feel like we're desperate and we need a new team member, well, we probably are. And that's human. We just got to reflect on that and realize what it was that made us, if we're uncomfortable, they're uncomfortable. So you want to have that idea in your mind of what kind of questions can you ask people to get them out of the booth? What kind of conversations are you going to have to lead up to, hey, do you want to know what you get if you choose a date right now? Hey, do you want to know what you get if you book a party during the booth right now? I mean, I can always call you too, and blah, blah, blah. Things like that. How are you going to get to that? Because it's not going to be the first thing you say. So one thing that I love to do is I feel sorry for anyone who makes eye contact with me. Because if they make eye contact with me and they have a child, children are my weakness. So if they have children, and I'm going to strike up a conversation about their child, like, oh my gosh, look at her ribbons. They would look so cute in my hair if my hair was long enough. Or look at that. Oh, when did you lose your tooth? Those things are getting into their personal world. This, to me, yeah, we always say Scentsy will sell itself because it does, but not if we don't share it and not if we don't make some kind of connection. Are you into clothes? What are you into? Those are the fair is awesome because it's food. Who's not into food? So anyone made eye contact with me, they most always had food. I'm all, where on earth was that? Because I didn't see that food. What's your most favorite food? No way, really, I want some. Or however you're gonna strike up a conversation. Those are the cutest shoes. Whoa, where did you get those shoes? Do you see what I'm doing? I'm complimenting them a little bit, being very authentic. You gotta mean it. I mean, you don't compliment your shoes if you think they're ugly. I mean, come on. You're not gonna say something looks good if you're not gonna really eat it. We see that. We see that in your face. We know when you're being real or not, okay? So what we like to do, so back to the money. We have one person, the booth coach, keep the cash on them. We used to keep it in the drawer, and guess what happened? Duh. Yeah, it used to get snagged. Weird. So now one person keeps cash, and then everyone else we keep the card readers on the front table with calculators. We have all the pins. We have all the door prizes. We have all the bags. You can even see in our booth, we have 3 different sizes of bags. We don't want to give them a giant bag for a freaking 6-pack or a 3-pack of bars. You know, bags cost money. Everything costs money. So remember that as if it is your booth, because you're gonna maybe one day probably have your own booth sometime. So when somebody needs a bag, the small bags are for the 3-packs and light bulbs. Then there's the medium bags for the 6-pack, and then the large ones if they need. I mean, we even have really big ones if they get 2 warmers or what have you. But you're gonna make that transaction. My label, our label, whoever has a booth, our label's on the booth, but that really shouldn't matter if you're making the connection. They should leave with product in their hand, but you in their heart, if you've made that good connection in that relationship. And it's great. Yeah, tell them, hey, it's not my name on the bars. This is my contact information, because you're going to bring catalogs or business cards or little sound, whatever you want to give away with your contact info on it. So that's what you want to make sure. And you say that. I love that idea. But what we don't like to see, what we used to do is we'd have all of our team members bring their labels and label as you sold. And then what did that end up doing? It felt very salesy to me. And then it took your mind off of them. It could, I don't know how you could possibly do that when you're concentrating, even for a brief second, to take your label, because then your mind is distracted to put it on that product, right? So we label it all so you can be 100% focused and present on your customers. And we highly encourage you to make sure every single item is labeled before your booth. It is so unprofessional, and it is flippant. Like, it looks like an employee working in the booth when they're standing there labeling, don't you think? So think about that. If you walk by a booth and you see them labeling whatever, it looks like they're doing a job. It looks like they were hired to put labels on things. And, oh, yeah, I'm labeling. Go back there and smell. No, we are the professionals. We are the master poppers too. So it's really one of those, it's a personal preference. You're going to have other people that say, oh no, I want that because I want my team members to have their label. It's a personal choice. We're just telling you kind of what worked for us and what didn't, because we totally flailed when we first started. And so when you're spending that time in the booth, labeling, it reminds me when you walk by booths and see people sitting down. Have you ever been to a booth and you've seen them sitting down? We never have a chair in our booth. We just don't have chairs in our booths. But that's also the reason we don't really like to work 6 hours or more in a booth too. I don't know if you guys noticed that, because then you get we want you to be so into what you're doing that I know how it feels after the 7th and 8th and 9th hour. You're all, hey, really, you want some bars? All right, what can I get you? You just want 2? Great. I mean, it's really 3 for 17, or if you buy 5, you get something. We kind of get into our little mode. But so that is a really important thing too. They'll come and say, oh my gosh, do you have Christmas cottage? What are you going to say? Honestly, right now, Keegan, I came to the booth and said, do you have Christmas cottage? What are you going to say?
Of course, I've got a Christmas cottage. Is there any other sense that you are interested in?
Well, how do you know we have Christmas cottage? Do you know I have Christmas cottage
I
right now?
see it right there.
Oh, see? He said, of course we have it. Are there any other scents you'd be interested in? Perfect. We have it. Brilliant. Love. Yes. And if you don't know, then just say, you know what, let's go check and see what we have. And you bring them back to the booth. And then they're alphabetical for the most part. They start out alphabetical. They don't always end that way. We get so busy. So slammed. But yeah, they start out alphabetical. And then you will pop the bar. Because every time you pop this bar open, magic happens. Without you even having to say one single thing, what happens when you open this bar and have somebody smell? What is happening? You're asking them a question without even talking. Isn't it kind of, when I put this bar in front of your nose, Autumn, isn't it kind of saying, you like it? You like it? What do you think? Is that your style? What do you think? Is it good? Is it bad? And then you're watching them. I don't even have to ask that. I challenge you to put the smell in front of someone and not get a reaction or a comment from them.
Okay, I'm gonna do that when I get home.
There's just something that happens with scent. That's why we want to open these bars for them. Yeah, and see, when you get kind of tired, and some of them just act like they know what they're doing, and they probably do, which is great. But I'm in the booth so I can get contact, so I can hopefully sponsor some new team members by booking a party with them. And you're not going to do that if you set them free at the bars, okay? Any questions about this so far? You're going to try that when you get home?
Yes. I'm just gonna see what happens.
Okay, love.
Not even gonna tell Dylan. I'm just gonna do it.
Okay. Yes. Oh, so we have you guys sign in. I didn't finish that. I get so excited. So if you'll have yours, and we'll use it for the weekend, and then when you guys have the app that I send you, just to download it for free, then you log into our account, and then we have more credit cards, so all of us can take transactions faster. Okay. And then those of you at home, if you're listening and have questions, we can't hear you, so speak up. Yes. Opening. Oh, one thing that we like to do. And I kind of mentioned this, but we like to spray. We use a room spray in the same flavor that we warm flavor. And we like to spray the curtains at the booth because we always have drapes. So we spray those. We spray our tablecloths and all that because that invokes the senses a little bit. So it brings them in. When the doors are open, the booth is open. Customers are not going to stop if you're sitting or if you're labeling, or this is perfect. So here's the front of our booth, okay? We have this little table in the front of our booth. We do not want to stand right here at the front of the booth by the table. Why?
It's like you're blocking.
We're blocking. We're bullying. We're intimidating.
Intimidating with the hunger for a sale.
A hunger for a sale. Yeah, see, so we always try, even if there's three of us, we like to hang out and talk, right? It's okay, as long as our back is not to them. We always want to be facing this way. So in the closer, feel this for yourself, you guys. Go by these other booths. When you go to the Christmas show, take some time. Hopefully you'll take some time to shop too. That you're not going to be there. I mean, nobody's there the entire time. So, come early if your shift is closing to walk around and really get a feel for the booths that really felt inviting to you and the ones that felt, oh my gosh, the ones that felt a little intimidating. There's a reason for that. And that's what we're always open to. So if you see something, we want to know, hey, why did that one feel so great? Or is there something that we're doing that really was standoffish that made someone kind of go, oh my gosh, I don't want to go in that booth. So, because that's important. We want to be able to feel what they're feeling. When we sell a warmer, what we like to do, we try to keep all of the warmers from that display in that area, all the warmers from this display in that area, and all the warmers from the middle underneath the table. The empty boxes are always right by it too. So we almost always will have duplicate. So what will happen is when you first get on shift, you're not going to know. And that's okay. We're not going to possibly be able to tell you everything either. That's why you get to ask questions. But if someone comes up and say, I want this warmer, if you don't know what that warmer is, guess what? You get to look it up and then you're going to learn it. Or of course you could ask if we're really busy, but if you don't know, then you can look it up, and then the person's going to say, well, how much is it? Well, if you don't know, then you can look it up or you could ask, okay? But we always have boost specials of all the bundles in the catalog. So my first reaction is that there is a perfect Scentsy, which is 2 warmers and 6 bars. The 2 warmers and 6 bars, do you guys know what the perfect Scentsy is? Okay, so the perfect Scentsy is the bundle that's in the catalog, and it's 2 warmers, usually of the same price, there's an exception, and 6 bars. And when you buy those together, you're basically getting 3 bars free, right? Isn't it 3 bars free, or saving 15 bucks, something like that?
That's roughly what it works out to.
Yeah, so what I want to do is, oh my gosh, well, if you want this warmer, then you can get another one, and I'm going to give you a 6-pack for the price of a 3-pack. Or I just upselled them. Does that make sense? But you're not going to have all that comfort initially. I'm just telling you, you're going to hear a lot of things that you just want to ask questions about if you're not sure. And is this our last one? Well, how are you going to know? You just got there, right? But the first thing you want to ask is either the booth coach or somebody who you know has been in the booth. Hey, do you know if this is our last one? Because you don't want to have to box that up if you don't want to. Because every single thing you see in our booth is for sale, except for the hardware. But that's the questions. Those are the things that you want to ask. Is that our last one? Because you don't want to have to spend the time boxing it up. And of course, we're going to help each other. So if you end up taking the last one, then our responsibility is to constantly keep our booth clean, clutter-free, and professional looking. So then you will replace that warmer with another one. If there's an empty, I mean, most of our products on display, or at least spread it out so it doesn't look like there's a gap, okay? It's just like the door prizes. We don't keep catalogs laid out on the front of our table. Because remember, we said bring a little container, you remember that? And the reason we don't have our catalogs laid out on the table is because people will walk by, grab it, and go, which is not the end of the world, but catalogs cost money. And by the way, you don't have to do catalogs. You can do the brochures or the flyers, whichever you feel. But the point is, we're all about making those connections and building the relationships. And if they can walk by and just take a sample or take a catalog, we had no chance to get to know them or have them fill out a door price slip. So we want them to have to ask us. And if they say, hey, can I have a catalog? What are you going to say? Well, of course you're going to. Say, oh my gosh, do you already have one? Have you seen the new fall ones? What about, I'm going to just start spewing questions at them. So one thing that I literally had to learn, because obviously I talk, but I had to learn to self-talk in my mind. 2 questions effect. 2 questions effect. So I would have to I'd have to ask a question before I would state a fact, because I would Cincy bomb it on when I was so excited at the beginning. It's so new. So I want to ask them a question before at least one question. I had to do 2 to train myself. But you want to ask them a question before you start stating facts. Because then, why? Because they're going to be better listeners. And they're going to be more involved and more interested in you. So we want them to ask us for the catalogs. And that's why you can bring a little extra, like a little container to put in the back in our storage to refill your little container on the table. And then the door price slips are always laid right there. So if there's ever a clipboard or if ever there's not a door price slip laying out there, put them out there. Our team responsibility is just to make sure it's always full, the booth is always clean, and it looks like we're always having fun, because we are. Oh, so speaking of professionalism, we don't chew gum in our booth. Why?
It's distracting.
Think about that. Carlene said it was distracting. No, I'm not kidding. This is why. Go by these other booths, and if you see them chewing gum, I'm not kidding. It does something to your psyche.
I don't like talking to people when they're chewing gum.
See, Kat doesn't like talking to people when they're chewing gum. It just seems very flippant or even teenager. So we do mints. And thank you for the mints. Whoop, whoop. So yes, we can do breath mints. We don't eat in the booth. We don't talk on our phone in the booth. We don't text in the booth. We have our phone, obviously, for the transactions, but you can just step outside of the booth, because there's more than one of us. If you're on your phone, then that's not fair to the other 2 who are 100% present waiting for someone to come by, because those people will see you first on your phone or talking and just saying, oh, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to bother them. Yeah, we want them to bother them because they're a blessing, not a bother. Okay, any questions about that? It sounds obvious. That's why we ask you to bring a snack or something, so you don't have, you can just step outside and eat it, because you don't have a lot of time during your shift to leave the booth. Oh, and then this talks about what you're gonna say. Make sure that you hide all your purses and valuables underneath and in our storage. Oh, what's kind of nice too is sometimes for you guys to bring, you know what, I don't even need to tell you this. We used to have team members just have some cash on you in case you wanted to go grab something and all that, or in case I ran out of cash in the booth, but we've kind of got it mastered now, and then we just pay you, of course, but you don't really run out of cash anymore. We've done that. So the white door price slips go home with you. Ooh, the rule in the industry is follow up within 48 hours. Follow up on those door price slips within 48 hours. Boom. Combo packs in the catalog we offer in the booth. Buy 5, get 6, the 6th one free in all of our Go products, right? Okay, you guys are gonna learn so much about all of our products because we have almost all of it. And moral of the story is just ask, but bring about 40 to 45 catalogs per 3-hour shift. Because you feel it's crazy what happens if you run out. You feel helpless. You just kind of go, oh my gosh, or your flyers or your brochure, whatever it is. And holy cow, here's a huge fun thing that I've learned. When you bring your calendar, because that's a given, whether it's on your phone or whether it's a physical calendar book, go through it ahead of time, and I highlight it in pink. I highlight pink my open days, highlight green my preferred days that I can work, that I can do parties. And I do green because green reminds me of money. Green reminds me of it's the income. It's, those are my highlight days that I really want to, I'm going to fill my green days. You don't have to do it this way. I'm giving you an idea though. And then the pink are the days that I could do it if the greens can't happen. And then if this is my calendar book, I am never going to, so let's say, Autumn, you want to stand up here and then you can be on camera. So you can set that there, it's okay. So Autumn is hosting a party, yay, let's just say. Okay, so this is my calendar book, and I'm going to say something like this to Autumn. Autumn, oh my gosh, we're going to have so much fun at your super fun Scentsy Share. What time of day do you think most of your friends and family will probably want to show?
6 o'clock.
6 on a weekday or a weekend?
Say 5 on a weekday.
5 on a weekday. Oh, so do a lot of your friends and family work? Are they going to be able to get there right at 5? Because they probably get off at 5, right? Yeah. So what would be a time that is convenient for you to get home and get ready and have them over?
I'd say 6.
6 o'clock is good? Okay. And then do you want to have a big, are you all about the food and the snacks? Or just the little lights? Sometimes. Okay. So we're going to set 6 for now, but then if you decide it's holidays, we tend to want to do big spreads. So, and this is side note, not to my host, but if you have around 6, that's dinner time. You want heavier snacks. You're going to have to coach your host to have heavier food. But if you have it closer to 7, then it can be light snacks because most people will eat before 7. Hopefully that made sense, right? Okay. And back to reality. Okay, so we're going to set it for 6 and then we'll talk about it. And then I have, oh my gosh, I have 2 options for you. You can do Friday. Oh, you said a weekday, right?
Any day.
Any day at 5.
Yep.
Okay, so I have Thursday at 5 o'clock on, highlighted in green. And then I also have the following week highlighted in pink, let's just say. So Autumn, I have Thursday at 6 on the 18th, or I have Tuesday at 6 on the 29th. Which day is best, do you think?
Thursday.
That Thursday is the best. Okay. Notice how I didn't just show Autumn my empty calendar. If you are okay, you can have a seat, make it more comfortable. Good job, sister. If you're going to show your calendar, it better be full, because then there's what's happened. Because I've done it, believe me. When I first started, I would bring a blank calendar on purpose. I would bring an empty calendar to my shows because that was how I tracked my business. I kept it separate from my real job in my personal life. But what would happen is I'd say, "What date do you want?" And I'd have like 1 out of 30. And they'd go, I'll take that one. And then they'd pick it. And then I'd call and follow up. And then what would happen? As it got closer to the party, they felt no problem to call and say, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do it. Can I get next week? Because in their mind, I was wide open. They're going to remember all those blank spaces and think nothing of trying to cancel. By the way, I don't really let them cancel because you know what? This is my professional business. And when we're in that booth and we are talking to them about this super fun party, you want to convey to them like, oh my gosh, I am so excited to do your party on Thursday. And I want to give you, this is what I like to do. I'm going to give you a scent circle of your flavor choice. And I want you to put this scent circle in your car. And every time you smell it, it's going to remind you, call at least one person and tell them about your party. Every time you smell it on that party day, and I'll coach her on that party day too, to say, hey, remember your scent circle? I want you to call every person that said yes, they're coming, or what have you. I like to do that. No, you don't have to do that. The point is I'm going to let them know how freaking committed to them I am. I am 100% all about this party for you. This is going to be so, we're going to talk many times, and I'm not going to have anybody else on that day. Because when you talk like that, they're not going to want to cancel on you because they're going to feel like, oh my gosh, I better go through with this. I am so important to her. And I mean it. You've got to mean that when you're booking those socials and parties. So have your days highlighted, and I only offer them 2 days after I figured out, do they want a weekday or a weekend? What time is best? And then it's not really about them, it's about their guests. So what's best for most of their guests? Not them, if that makes sense. And of course they'll accommodate. But I only like to give those 2 dates on purpose so they can literally feel like, well, I have 2 dates available. And then what does that do? Oh my gosh, Keegan is pretty busy. I want that one. Okay, good. Okay, good. Well, I'm going to call you on Tuesday, and then I literally, within 24 hours, I like to, I'm going to literally call and say, okay, got you set on Tuesday. Do you want to know the show special if you book right now? So I'm asking I'm asking Autumn, hey, do you want to know the show special if you book a party right now during our booth? You do. They always do. I mean, after I got to know them and built that like, and trust relationship, you know what? You get to choose a car bar. I'm just going to make that up right now. Car bar of your flavor choice. And I'm going to have a list of the car bars. If I'm giving away a car bar, I'm going to have the list of all the car bar flavors. I let her pick it. And then here's what I'll do. Call her on the follow-up. Carlene, I'm so excited for your party on Thursday the 18th. And I ordered your car bar, so I'll bring that with me. So how many people are you expecting? Because I'm going to give you a really fat bonus prize if you get 12 people or more at your party, and I'm going to help you with that. But what did I just do right there? I painted a picture of 12 people as a minimum. You're not going to cancel me because I already ordered your bar kind of mentality, right? And we're in this together. How can I help you? See, so, and then we typically will do that in our booth. We'll have our own idea. Everyone's got a different income in pocket. But what we like to do as a team, we like to agree on that particular time what we're all giving. So we could give a dryer disc, but we all agree because we all want to say the same thing during that shift. Because if I were to say, you know what you get a warmer and a diffuser if you book with me. And then they go over here to Kat, and Kat said, I'll give you scent circle. Well, they're going to book with me, right? So we all want to agree. And it's just little, and we don't give it to them until we've obviously done their little party. Okay? There's so many things. Isn't it fun? Yeah, filling up to the products. Yeah, Oh, and then this list that's also on Team Talk, I wrote 15 different questions that you could ask to invite them into the booth. 15 different ideas for you to personalize and customize so it would be comfortable for you. Last but not least, when someone books a party with you, they don't have their calendars with them typically, so you want to either have an appointment card, or what I do, I just write it on the back of the flyer or brochure that I'm giving them, the date, the time, and I also write their free product that I'm giving them. Scent Circle, I write the flavor that they chose, and then I write it down, of course. A new thing that I've been doing that was really helpful is I write it down, circle it, and then I take a picture because that makes it faster for me. And if that made sense. So whatever works for you, whatever's fastest for you. But the important part is for you to be able to keep track of that and keep this in mind. Basket parties are deluxe Parties on the go are so great. If you don't have a set or two, I have 12 this time of year, 6 in the spring, summer, and winter, fall, holidays. I have 12. And my ultimate goal is that week of Thanksgiving is to have all of them distributed. So I will make a mission to book my green highlighted home parties, and I try to do 2 home parties a week. So I try to get those 2. I always do those first. That's me because I love doing home parties and meeting new people. And then I go, if they don't want to do a home party, then, oh, well then, okay, well, you know what, let's just do a party on the go. Do you have an office or something where I can drop these off for you? And then I write them down, and I have 12 slots on that Monday of Thanksgiving. And then I'll drop them all off on a Monday of Thanksgiving. They share them. They can take them on the plane wherever they go, share them with their friends and family because we're around a lot of people. And then that following Monday or Tuesday, I go pick them all up. And then when they come in, so I have 3 committed days. One's the dropping off, 2 is picking up, 3 is the delivery of 12 different. I mean, it's I don't want to jinx myself, but it's almost always been over $3,000 in orders in those 12 basketballs. Do you have to do 12? No, I started with 2. So you got to start somewhere, but man, is that a powerful way to get some parties booked. And then I try to gift obviously, earn a kit to even my basket host, and I reward her, the basket host, even parties on the go, I reward them for getting another party booked too. So just because it's a party on the go doesn't mean you need to just say, oh good, I don't even have to try to get more parties. Yeah, you do. Yeah, this is the holidays. This is the busy, booming, super fun time. Questions? Really? Wow. How about you guys? Are you visualizing yourself in the booth? Is there something that's coming up that a customer just came up to you and you're going, okay, what do we say? What do we do? The white copy of the door prize is where I write note after note, which is another beautiful thing. The white copy is yours. You're taking that home. You're following up on it. That white copy is for you to write every single thing you can possibly remember about your customer before you help the next customer. That's why we have 3 or 4 people in the booth. You couldn't do that if all we were doing was selling. So the questions I think of are form, family. I want to ask them all about their family. And then when I'm writing the notes on the back of their door prize slip, they're not going to see it. I'm the only one that sees the white copy, right? But when I'm writing those notes, I'm thinking, okay, family. So then I write down 2 kids, senior in high school, whatever I remember. Occupation. Oh, she does this. Her husband does this for a living. Occupation is R, recreation. What do they do for fun? Well, hopefully during our talk or whatever, I know what they do for fun, what they do for family outings, and I write that down. And then M is what would money do? How would it make a difference in your life? And so then I would just write down anything personal. I thought, oh, she does fundraisers, or oh, she works at this organization, or oh, she really liked this warmer, so she could get it free. So yeah, I'm going to offer her this when I call her and say, hey, you know how you could get that free? Just join, and this month you get the diffuser, or whatever. So those notes are for you to make the most personal follow-up possible. And if you don't want to write down the door prize slip, just have a little notepad. Did you have something else to offer? Oh, Ken has the door prize slip.
I'm just figuring out some examples that are sitting on your desk.
Oh, I
So
know,
you
get my
have a
mess.
price slip, and then you can see all of the notes written.
Oh, can I just tell you, this is so good that you did this. So here is the door prize slips that we showed you guys. You read their name back to them and their email back to them. Oh my honk. Do you do that already, Shannon? Because if you don't, and you can't read their name and email, well, how the heck are you going to go home and enter this in the contacts? But here's what accidentally happens. When you're reading the emails back to them, you're going to have something probably to ask them just from their email. So here's an example. Oh, your email is emailski@cableone.net. Is that right? And then she'll say yes or no or whatever. I'm all, why is it just emails? Is this because you get a lot of spam? Or, because that's, pretty generic. And what does the KI stand for? What? And then she'll tell me. Or if they say 47, how they have a number. What's the number stand for? Certainly not the year you were born, right? But you get the idea. You can strike up a little bit of personal inquiry just from this. I enter every single person's email address in the contacts, whether they check that first box or not, because we have an opt-out. They have an opt-out option on the contacts through our newsletter, and they're going to get that newsletter from you on the first Wednesday of every month. So that's so important.
Does everybody know about the newsletter? Okay, and put
Yeah.
emails into
If you
accounts?
don't, just ask.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
Okay, the newsletter. And so I'll explain the newsletter to you right after this. Don't let me forget, okay? And then when they have any of these boxes, these bottom 3 boxes checked, that's what you want. If they check that without you even asking, that means they want to know more about the business, or they are really interested in hosting a little fun party, or they might be interested in fundraisers. Don't look at the door prize slip and put it in your pocket or in your box or whatever without reading something back. If you see one of those boxes checked, oy vey, that's gold. If you see one of those boxes, don't let them walk away without you. Oh, hey, and this happens sometimes. They'll come and grab a door prize slip and they'll go to put it in and you say, oh, the white copy's mine, but let me put my initials on it because if you win the door prize, I get to deliver it to you. And then you put your initials on it before it's separated to put in there. And then you're going to say, oh, you're interested in a little Cynthia. Have you ever done a Cynthia event before? You have? What kind? You haven't? Oh my gosh, well, what do you think of? What do you think of that? Or, you know what I'm saying? If they check the box, tell me more about the Cincy family business.
November special.
Yeah. So Carlene said there's a November special. My first thing is I want to ask them a question. What do you already know about Cincy? What do you mean about the business opportunity? What do you do now? Family, occupation, recreation, and then I'm because then I want to have so much, and I'm not going to sponsor them right there in the booth. But I'm saying, oh my gosh, well, you know what? There's so much, and I really want to be present with you, 100%. So
What's the most important thing probably to ask them if they check that box? Interest in the business opportunity.
Can you hear him, Shannon?
What's probably the most
He said,
important
what's the most
thing
important thing
to know?
really loud.
What's the most important thing to probably know? Let's say I walked up, you're working with me on the customer, I checked the box, interested in knowing more about the business opportunity.
Their purpose.
Why?
What
Why?
sort of information do you want to know?
What do you want to know?
Why are you interested in being a Cincy consultant?
Why? What does
Why?
that mean? Well, yeah.
Well, there could be a number, we've heard every answer there probably is, right? Well,
Never
I'm a stay-at-home mom, looking for more to do, like to make a little extra money to pay for holidays for my family.
Well, here's an example.
Knowing why that is, why did they check that? What was their motivation for checking that box is probably the most important thing.
And
for
see,
you to
that's what I
understand,
say is
because
what do you know about the business, or what do you mean by this? Because sometimes they really just say, I don't know, I just check the box, right? Because you don't know. So sometimes, I mean, why is good if they know. Or I want to know they knew they checked it first, and then why. But here's a perfect example. Keegan joined from a trade show booth.
Okay.
So how did it happen with you, with Lindsay?
I did it because we'd actually just had my baby girl, and I'm actually looking to help kind of pay off the medical bills that we built up from that and everything. So it's a little bit to help fill in that income.
Right.
And it's because my wife already has a love of Cincy.
So
and
how did it
there's the
happen?
constant come through of that.
So Keegan said, I don't know if you can hear him, but, and Keegan's a guy, but he wants to help pay off the medical bills because they just had a new baby. And his wife already had a bunch of Cincy. So how did it happen in the booth? Do you remember how the conversation went at all?
Well, it started as we were walking by the booth and she saw Snap.
Snap the Dragon.
She fell in
Oh,
love with
buddy
him.
was on display.
So love the
And-
product already.
Yeah.
Love the product.
So we came in to go get that, and then as we ended up actually getting a mini warmer and a few bars as well.
So they bought some
because
product.
Lindsay was great.
Mhm.
And then after we went through and as we were checking out and everything, like she asked about our interest in the product, whether we wanted to host or if we wanted to sponsor.
Mhm.
And it was directed
did she
at
come
my
out?
wife at that point.
Oh, so the consultant, Lindsay, hi Lindsay, she actually directed the questions towards his wife, which we've all done that, right? I mean, the industry is 80% women. And so she did come out and ask if you would wanted to do a party and if you were interested in joining, or how did she say it? Did she
and
use
whether
those
or not
words?
We'd be interested in joining the Cincy family and like being a consultant ourselves.
Oh,
And my wife's a little more of an introverted type person, and she wasn't really very interested in it because she's not.
wife, not so
People.
much.
And then I was like, I'll do it. And the surprise on Lindsay's face, she was like, really? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I enjoy doing this stuff, and I'm very people.
Yes, you are.
And so
Okay,
I ended
fun.
up joining up. And before I got my meeting with her, she called me within the 48 hours and we set up a meeting. But
Set up a little coffee talk or something?
yep, I
Okay.
went to Moxie and had some coffee and everything. But I'd actually, as she was texting me, I had just finished doing my registration for the sponsor.
Oh, and he ended up joining before I even met her for coffee. But see, Lindsay followed up within the 48 hours, talked to him about when they're going to meet, kind of knew an idea about his background, and obviously made such a connection with him that he joined before he even met her, which is good that they still met because there's a zillion questions.
Oh, there
even
was.
asked that. Sorry.
Well, it's partly our job as the consultant or as a Cincy leader, because we're all going to be leaders as we have people, as we're building our own Cincy teams, is to paint that vision for people. It's like, well, have you ever thought about being a Cincy? So if they check the box, you know, I'm interested in knowing about business opportunity. Have you ever thought about being a Cincy business or being a Cincy consultant?
Yep.
Yeah, you will be surprised how many people say, yeah, I've thought about it for like 2 years, you know, or in your case, maybe it's like, well, no, you're planting the seed. It's like, well, no, I never really thought about it. We've just loved the products and have been buying the products for years. Well, you know, so you're planting that, you're starting to build that vision for them where they can you see how Cincy could maybe, you being a consultant could fit, you know, into what you have going on in your life, what kind of work you do. Then you go into the form, right? Family, occupation, well, you have kids, you know, what do you do for a living?
What do you do for
What
fun?
do you do for fun? You know, and then you can start planning the vision and building that, you know, the kind of the idea of how Cincy could work for them. Oh, your daughter's in band. Does your band ever are you ever supporting fundraisers for her?
Yep.
Well, Cincy makes great fundraiser. You know what, this is the kind of work you do. Okay, well, he's a firefighter, whatever it might be. Well, that's perfect because we take flame out of the home. So we're making home safer. So that's, you know, that's a good story for you to be able to tell it. So you're kind of helping them see, you know, yeah, well, maybe I could be a Cincy consultant and maybe there is an opportunity for this to fit for me. And then the excitement starts to build from that. And you probably experienced that yourself, right? I think
Yeah.
every one of us has experienced
that's
that.
cool.
It was really just, the excitement did build a lot while I was talking with Lindsay, and it was actually a little bit of a slower time. So I actually had the opportunity to just sit there and actually talk to her about it. And that's why I did it before even I met with her, because she built the excitement so much in the booth.
You
Yay.
got all the way to that point where you could, I guess, experience the idea of being a Cincy consultant before you even had the coffee meeting.
Yep.
Sometimes that happens. More times than not, though, it's like, okay, now we get together, we have the conversation, we have the form conversation, family occupation, and then plan ideas of, well, if I were in your shoes, this is how I would go about being a Cincy consultant. This is essentially what you're doing, right? Big online social media person. Okay, well, let's talk about Facebook parties. Let's talk about how you can share Cincy on your Facebook page and how people buy that way too. You know, so there's all sorts of ways of kind of positioning it in a way that, depending on their form, you're going to see how Cincy can fit for them to be a consultant.
Okay, you can go stop the recording. Thank
Okay.
you.
Is that it?
Okay, so this,
I just wanted you to say.
I'll read a couple of these while you go
Yeah.
in there, and then you'll
Okay.
see when to stop it. Thanks, honey. Okay, so these are some things that I wrote down about this person. I circled that she's interested in hosting a party, has 5 kids, one's a 17-year-old, twin boys, they go to Eagle High School, not married, she has a new home, said she has a lot of drama going in her life, but boy, this would be great for her to share. She used to sell Cincy, and she wants to do a Facebook party because she lives in Michigan, might even come back after her party. Her ex lives here, has a Disney fanatic friend, and her friend might even join under her. I got all of that on the back of this note. So there's no way you're gonna remember all of that. I mean, look at all of these were just the contacts from my one shift. And look, they're all just chicken scratch mess, so long as you can read them. So I'll just leave you guys with this, and then we'll chat. When you go to the booth, just have a vision of how many parties you're gonna book, not how many parties you want to book. Want to? I hope I get a part. Hope is not a business plan. Nope. You want to have that conviction in your heart. How many socials or events or shares are you going to get on your calendar? have that mentality, have yourself set up for success and prepared. Because that's where it starts. Even if it doesn't happen, it starts with you believing that, okay, I'm going to book this many parties. I'm going to get at least 2 prospects. I am literally going to have a conversation, have 2 coffees scheduled the following week to talk to somebody about the business. Have those dates, have them highlighted, circled, stickered, whatever you want to do. And we couldn't emphasize this enough. Just smile. Let everyone know how much fun this is. It's really not about you. It's about them. And how can you make it fun for yourself? And if it's not fun for you, it's not going to be fun for them. So have that in mind as you go into your booth or any booth that you're working. And I'm telling you, no matter what, you're going to learn so much. I learned every single booth. I learned something. Every single booth. That's why I love them. So we're so glad you hopped on, no matter when you listen to the recording. Ask questions any old time on Team Talk. And don't forget to stretch yourselves. Bye-bye. Love your guts. Love your hearts. Bye, Shannon. Okay. Any thoughts? Any questions? Newsletter.
I guess
On the first Wednesday of every month, the newsletter goes out. So it's on the contacts tab. So, and do you do the newsletter, huh?
yeah.
You do the contacts, right?
Yeah.
Have you done contacts yet? Autumn, have you had a chance to do any contacts?
I've done a few.
Because you
but-
can at least start with your,
I've
Yeah,
got about
friends
a
and family.
dozen between friends and family already that have been getting them.
okay, so tell Kat, where did you find it?
For like adding in the contacts,
Yep.
when you actually log into the Sensi workstation, I actually log in just on the mobile site, and I've got the 3 menu bar up on the upper left-hand corner, and there actually
I'm
is
not an auditory learner, I'm a visual learner.